And we're in. Came a little bit late into this first finals match, ladies and gentlemen. Bands have already started. We have got Persephone and Circuit, banned for the boys in blue. We've got Arachne in 4, banned for our boys in red. So on the left-hand side, ladies and gentlemen, we have insert team name here on the right-hand side of your screen. We have got RushDeathbringer. Persephone ban, not a surprise at all after the show that we saw X-Jor put on in that last match. It is a little surprising. No target bans for Bandit coming out. Just generic bans from RushDeathbringer. No Vabana ban. No Yamoja ban. Illusional gonna lock that in immediately. Not gonna let that slide, are they? They're going to pop it, lock it, and drop it. Isis, Surcat, Persephone with the official bans from insert team name here. Kukulkan, Arachne, Thor, the official bans from RushDeathbringer. Definitely, I don't know if Deathbringer thought that they would immediately lock in that emoji. I thought maybe they thought they could sneaky cheeky that and get it for themselves. Camazotz, we've seen awesome play before over in the solo lane. In fact, in their comeback match that they ended up winning to get here to the finals. That's what they played. And her has been a super, super common pick for the Hunters this tournament for the ADC role. And they're going to go ahead and lock in Her and Achilles. Back over to Lupus and Bandit to see what they want. We have got Time Bandit thinking about an Arthur. Doubt that's actually for him. That is probably just for their solo laner, which is Lupus, I would imagine. And the Hachi Man for Madrock. Very much Madrock's most comfortable pick. They've been rocking a lot of Hachi Bacchus lane. But this is probably a Yamoja support. Meaning that they won't need that Bacchus. Back into our second round of bans. Vamana being put down. Now we're seeing some of those target bans come out. Undo Bandit. Doesn't look like they probably picked his jungle yet, unless he's a Yamoja jungle, which would be crazy and totally possible. Not out of the range of things Bandit would do. Kumbhakarna getting banned. Just get rid of a nice generic support. The Daji ban. Looks like somebody specifically didn't want to play against that god. Or knows something that I do not, which is also possible. They might have done a little bit of research into each other. And the final ban here coming out for our boys in blue. You might note from the previous sets that insert team name here is using a sub for these finals. Sergey was their normal support. They have brought in their sub Farse here for their finals. I do believe that their 5th main roster player could not make the game, but luckily all the teams do have subs to fill in under those circumstances. And it is going to be the Bacchus ban, which makes me really think that is a Yamoja support. Xingtian coming out. Could be Xingtian support or solo, depending on where they want to rock that Achilles. Awesome strikes me as the player, though, that would pick for themselves, so it makes me think Achilles solo. I feel like they would pick their own god. Just strikes me that way. What will we see coming out for the jungle on insert team name here? Chang'e, most likely going to be the mid laner. And Susano, looking like they're going to rock it in the jungle. A lot of CC on that team. Chang'e ult, Susano ult, Arthur ult, Yamoja everything. Very high CC comp. Very strong. Really, really like their composition. A lot. As far as Deathbringer's team fight goes right now, they're really revolving around their Xingtian setup. Wouldn't hate seeing another god for setup right now. There it is. Hunbat's coming out from the jungle. I do love to see that. Gonna give the Poseidon more to work with. Honestly, even the Anher ulti, when you don't have to worry about aiming it, can be a disgusting amount of damage. And we will see the two best teams for the tournament competing for the first ever first place finish in our sub-tournament series. Reminder, this is a best of 3. So they can't just win 1 game. They gotta win 2 games, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? They gotta get 2 down. So it ain't over after the first one. There's time for a comeback. Now we just wait for the spectator client to bring us in. And we'll see which team gets the first little lead. I'm excited. Oh, yeah. 2 great teams. We've seen both of these teams have stellar plays. Madrock and I would say Time Bandit have really shown themselves to be stellar players from insert team name here. Awesome and Xjor have really shown themselves to be amazing players over on Team Deathbringer. I think both of the teams are kind of coming around those players and supporting them, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with supporting and in setting up, in peeling for your players that have that carry potential. It's how the SPL works. It's how all competitive game works. When Cyclone Spin is on his game, you're dang right everybody's going to pick gods that keep him alive. When you've got adapting on your team, you're dang right you're going to pick something that helps make adapting thrive in that situation, you know? That's what competing's all about. It's about pushing your strengths and minimizing your weaknesses. Have I rigged this tournament at all? Yes, I have rigged this tournament completely, no matter what team wins, and this is true. This is true. The community is the real winner. That's true. Rigged from the start. Yeah. Yeah. Mega says, boo! Boo! This is what you signed up for. You didn't come here for quality content. You came here for dad jokes. Okay? I know it. You don't lie to me now. Okay? And get off my lawn. Cardboard, I think we're going to try to have that set up and ready for the February tournament. For the February tournament, I do hope that we, I do believe we're going to have in-coin betting on the games. I'm probably going to have to get some mod settings set up correctly for some of our tournament folks. But then hopefully we should be able to get some in-coin betting on which team is going to win as well. All right. We should now, hopefully, be getting pulled into the match. As long as Smite loves us. Do you love us, Smite? Do you love me? Yeah, nice job. There we go. You love to see it. Okay. Get ourselves up here. Boom. Coincidentally, I think RushDeathbringer is actually on the right side of the team that they just were, so that's perfect. So we have insert team name here. All right. Insert team name here, baby. Versus RushDeathbringer. Getting everybody all loaded in for this one. Make sure we get those bands up there on the screen. Get those trees off my screen. All right, let's get this set up. Let's get our mages in mid. Let's get our solo laners. Then our junglers, our mids, our supports, and our ADCs. Okay. Flatten those trees. Let's get me moved over to the side. Bada bing, bada boom. Get me out of the way. And I do believe we are all set up and ready for the action, ladies and gentlemen. The first finals game. Insert team name here. N7 Illusional, Time Bandit, Archetype, Lupus, Farce, and Not Madrock versus RushDeathbringer, Awesome Jake, 69, Tomahawk Warrior, X-Jor, Zweezy, and Grand Moth. Ladies and gentlemen, no invades coming out here at level 1. Looks like we're going to have a nice standard start. We got the Warrior's Blessings on the solo laners, Assassin's Blessings in the jungle. Got a movement speed build coming out from Poseidon, a more cooldown-oriented build from Chang'e. Guardian's Blessings for our supports, Tier 2 Shell and a Tier 2 Sprint, and the Hunter's Blessings going into what seems to be a Transcendence and some sort of lifesteal item, either a Blood Forge or a Devo Gloves. Pretty standard starts all around, nothing too crazy. Go ahead and throw down your favorite name in the chat right now. If you're watching on Twitch, if you're watching this later on YouTube, comment which team you want to win before you finish it. I'll know if you're cheating. Which team are you rooting for? Are you here for insert team name here, or are you rooting for RushDeathbringer, ladies and gentlemen? Who is the squad that you want to win? Nice poke coming out from insert team names here. Dual lane already onto Grand Moth. To be fair, almost impossible to avoid getting hit by Yamoja's combo. It basically covers the entire lane, so that's probably going to continue to happen. Nobody winning the clear enough, though, in order to push into the jungle, so everybody going to be grabbing their own jungles. Chang'e already level 3 over in the mid lane. Nice farm coming out from everybody, grabbing all their stuff. Over in the solo lane, they're just kind of punching each other in the head. Both players at about half HP, but they've both got Chalice and Health Potions. Reminder that the Chalice and Health Potion start will no longer work in Season 7, but this is the end of Season 6, so you can still double stack those potions. Our next tournament actually will take place in Season 7. So this is the last tournament match from Season 6. Speaking of the solo lane, though, Arthur actually finding himself a little bit low. He got a little bit of pressure over here in the mid lane as well. Not going to find anything. Poseidon getting himself underneath that tower. Arthur finding himself a little bit low in the HP department, but not enough to be scared. Now, Hunbats will rotate over, though, possibly looking out for a pickoff onto Illusional. Illusional finds himself pretty far forward in a lot of these games and has often found himself punished for it. Thank God for Arthur, though. Full healing. He doesn't have a gladiator shield. He doesn't need it. He pops a couple potions, and he goes, Arthur, 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 Arthur. Back over in the dual lane. Nice pillar impale coming out, but Madrock positioning himself very well right now into the Anhur. Not quite able to get all of his HP pulled down, but great poke. If that dash would have reached him, probably would have been a different story. Not quite, though. Grand Moth going to be able to pop some potions, heal a little bit back up, but he does only have one multi-pot left, so he's got to be a little bit careful. Over on the right-hand side, though, Time Bandit going for the invade. He's going to be collapsed on, though. He's going to get punished for this. He really hasn't been punished for this all tournament long. He's gotten himself out from the thick of it, but the X-Jor rotation, grabbing the first blood, not the member of Team RushDeathbringer that you want to see that first blood on, ladies and gentlemen. If you're on insert team name here, one of their star players grabbing the first blood against one of the... Oh, and it's a second kill. Immediately getting level 5 from that. So he comes back to the mid lane, snags the Chang'e with the ultimate. First blood and 2 kills for X-Jor on the Poseidon. A wonderful start for RushDeathbringer. That is their best case scenario. Ooh! A 1v1 over in the solo lane. Can't be letting that happen. Awesome Jake gonna take down the Arthur by themselves. 1v1. A great start for RushDeathbringer here. Getting themselves 1,000 gold and 1,000 XP difference. Not too big of a deal. But if it's anything like last game, this could just be the beginning of the end. Last game, they utilized their lead so incredibly well. If they can utilize their lead half as well this game, they'll be in a good spot. Tomahawk Warrior coming over, putting down a little ward. Good ward placement. That's a very common ward placement this year. Very strong. Particularly good place to use counter wards as well. Chang'e, unfortunately, finds themselves behind a decent bit against this Poseidon. She actually doesn't have a terrible matchup into Poseidon because she can theoretically dodge the ultimate with the 2. It's just unfortunate that the Poseidon got the first blood and kill on her, putting her a little bit behind. But as this game goes later, Chang'e really does have a good matchup into Poseidon, being able to avoid that ultimate. Poseidon, for a fairly significant part of the game, is like 80% ult bot, which there's nothing wrong with. It's such a strong ulti. Speaking of ult bots, he's rotating over towards the Arthur. We see Hunbat's coming over as well. Arthur actually setting himself up perfectly for the Poseidon ultimate, but Achilles misses! Achilles missed! We're going to see a kill over on the left-hand side from Time Bandit. Hunbat is going to be able to clean up that kill. They had to use more than they probably would have liked. Susano grabbing himself a kill over in the dual lane as the support rotates to the mid lane, grabbing the Chang'e with the ultimate. But now Xingqian finding himself in a bad spot. Going to get picked off. Poseidon ultimate is down, but he does have quite a bit of damage up. Good Aegis coming out from Lupus. A great Emoji ult, putting Poseidon in a horrible spot now. If they can land a little bit more CC, will the Chang'e 1 come back up? He's going to die for it. The Chang'e 1 will come up, and now he's out of mana as Hunbat's grabs here, and he's going to finish up the Chang'e with his overhand smash. Back and forth, ladies and gentlemen. What a great series of plays. Now Susano's diving the tower against Hunbat because his play is never allowed to end, and he's going to get it. Great shell coming out. Honestly, might have kept him alive right there. That tower shot would have been really close to killing him. And because of that, they're going to be able to go in, steal a red buff, get some XP back. And would you look at that? This game is dead even across the board. Great little fight from honestly both teams. A little bit of misplays, a little bit of good plays coming out from both teams right there from their individual players. Emoji gonna just throw yourself right out of that action. No problem whatsoever. Over in the solo lane, we've got Arthur and Achilles having a little bit of a smack each other fight. Achilles with a 2-level lead is a pretty big deal in 7 minutes over in the solo lane. But back in the dual lane, Xingqian was pushing up on the Hachi, not going to be able to find anything there. They're going to have to be a little bit careful. Tomahawk Warrior is on his way over. They don't seem to have any ward coverage, so they have no way to know that he is actually there right now. So they're going to need to be a little bit careful. Poseidon rotating over as well. They're going to need to get wards placed down. This is a bad spot for them. Unfortunately, Emoji is going to find herself dead here. Good Kraken coming out from Poseidon. He did beads that. So Poseidon beads and ultimate will be down for a little bit, but that was a good rotation now from Deathbringer. Insert team name here. Gonna need to find themselves some wards. Great rotation though. Counter rotation from insert team name here. Moving over to the solo lane, taking out that Achilles while their entire team rotated left. Their entire team rotated right, grabbing themselves a 1-for-1 trade. And now Poseidon has no beads and no ultimate. Time Bandit could. He may not have known. Hopefully they communicated that everything was down. He didn't unfortunately have any abilities up though to pick him off anyway, but he could have kept chasing a little bit longer if he would have desired, but it was a risky play. Blue buff steal coming out from Illusional. He's going to need it to catch up in that XP, which he has now done. That was a great rotation from Time Bandit to get over there to that solo lane to make sure that his solo laner didn't get too far behind. You really have two strategies as a jungler. You either rotate to the lanes that are behind to make sure that you can get them back to even again so they don't get snowballed on, or you say, screw it, I'm going to go to my lane that's winning and snowball. My lane out of control right now, opting to keep things even. And the fight breaking out at the red buff. They don't want to give up their red buff this time. Great Yamoja ult coming out, keeping everybody inside of this though. Poseidon got zoned out from this fight. He can't help his team. Hachi not able to finish up that kill on the Hunbat, and her jumping in, which is risky, but Chang'e is very low with no 2-up. She's going to be put down into the ground. Xingqian now finds himself surrounded by 3, and the great Poseidon ult coming out from Jor, not quite able to pick up 2 kills right there. That 1 HP Emoja might be picked up by Tomahawk. He actually doesn't see her rotating over there, though. He's looking at Hachi. Hachi, if he plays this right, might be able to get away or find something before he gets put down. He's still running. He's not going to be able to get any help. If he waits for cooldowns, he might be able to turn this around and try to kill the Hunbats. Nope. Yamoja did stay around even with her low HP just to give him a little bobbledy boop. to get him out of there. Great play, though, from Jor. Once again, a gnarly crack and landing right on the top of the heads of two of them. Pretty much everybody's actives used during that fight. You see everything down except for beads on Anher for RushDeathbringer. And as far as insert team name here, they've got an Aegis up on Chang'e and a beads on Hachi. But a lot of actives, a lot of ultimates used there. And honestly, pretty even situation after all of that. 300 XP for our boys in blue and 400 for red. So nobody really gaining any significant lead off that. Arthur just using his ultimate to get some poke over here on the Hunbat. Hunbat's jumping actually into a bad spot. He is now mispositioned with that jump down for like another 10 seconds. Time Bandit looks like he wants to go clean that up in the back line. He probably will get that. Meanwhile, Achilles and the rest of RushDeathbringer are looking at the back line. Poseidon beads down. He got knocked up by the Susanna ult anyway. Didn't use him quick enough. Bandit finding himself in a bad spot, though. Stuck inside of that Xingtian ultimate, but Achilles not going to be able to connect on there. The Emoji ultimate going to actually aggro the Fire Giant. They need to be careful of that. A reset back off of him. Kraken going to come down onto Umoja and find that kill. Everybody low on both teams. Arthur finally finding a pickup kill, healing up enough with his Glad Shield. Of course, his ultimate's back up again because Arthur ultimate has no cooldown, and that's going to be a great fight for insert team name here, finding just what they needed a little bit in their favor. Not significantly enough for them to probably do an objective or anything, but enough for them to rotate over, get a little red buff, grab a totem, start doing those little things that start to get you a lead. Nothing big like a Gold Fury or a Fire Giant Portal or anything. As far as these kills go, look at these scores. These scores are a lot more even than we have seen from these two teams prior. Both of these teams standardly have had standout players that have been carrying them like insane. If you look at this, this is a lot more even. 4-2 from Xjor, 4-2 from Time Bandit compared to their teammates at 3-3, at 3-2, 1-1, 0-0. We're seeing a little bit more good gameplay coming out across the board from both teams right now. Wow, another solo kill over there. Once again, Achilles taking down Arthur. That is a problematic situation to be in if that keeps happening. Another great play from Achilles to grab himself yet another solo kill. Both of his kills coming from those 1v1 situations. You don't see that a lot over in the solo lane. Anner at half HP. Hachi's an aggressive boy. I was about to say Madrock might go in on this, but he actually finds himself in trouble because of the little itty-bitty Xingtian peel just gets him out of position enough to make him live as the Anher nails the entire ultimate into him. Good little soft peel right there. We got a fight over in left lane, but also a fight over in solo lane. Xjor going to pick up Susanoo while the rest of RushDeathbringer comes over for Umoja. Not going to be able to pick her up. But a little sloppy there from insert team name here. RushDeathbringer finding a little bit of action on both sides of the map right now. Trying to bring that XP and gold into their favor just a little bit. As far as top damage goes right now, we can see Achilles and Poseidon leading the way. A lot of that Achilles damage, of course, and that Arthur damage coming over in this solo lane, beat each other in the head battle. Not super crazy, valuable. Although Achilles has gotten 2 kills off of it, so that is absolutely notable. More important, I think, right now is that Poseidon damage. That Poseidon damage is resulting in kills. He's 5-2. A lot of it is 100-0 burst damage. That is very, very relevant damage right now. Chang'e not too far behind, about a couple thousand behind, which is expected as a Chang'e. She really scales super well into the late game, so you would expect her to be behind a Poseidon right now. As far as XP goes, we got the solo laner for RushDeathbringer slightly in the lead, which is expected after his soloing. Jungler for Time Bandit, just a little bit in the lead, which was expected. He's one of the strongest junglers we've seen in this tournament, if not the strongest jungler. But not a bad job keeping up his Hunbatch. We see a Kraken come out, but it doesn't look like it's going to connect the way that he's used to. Chang'e will find herself put down from that, though. They've got a 3v1 over here now. Luckily, it's an Arthur who can keep this fight going, apparently with no problems, while there's a fight breaking out on the left-hand side of the map as well. Umoja moving forward. Hachi might be able to get involved in this. He doesn't have his ultimate, and he's a little bit scared to move forward. So just going to be a nice 1-for-0 trade for RushDeathbringer onto the Chang'e. Poseidon did have to use his beads and his ultimate in that fight, which might provide them with an opportunity here. might provide them with an opportunity as he comes back down for a little fight action. Deathbringer's trying to just push it a little bit. 1,500, 1,100 at 14 minutes really doesn't mean anything. But they're making, more importantly than their lead right now, they're making smart plays. They're using their brain right now. They're positioning themselves well. And they're putting themselves in good spots for fights. While their actives are down, they're playing further back. They're just making good choices that if they keep making will transition very well later into the game. Time Bandit does know that the stuff is down on Poseidon. Wow. That was a lot of damage out there from that tidal surge. That was like 40% of Susano's health from one little tidal surge. That's a scary proposition for a Susano. Beads and Agit's got to be down, though, on Poseidon for quite a while. We'll give them an opportunity. They know they're going to need to target him because he is their top damage. Other than that, everybody just kind of farming around right now. No major objectives done yet. No Gold Fury action or even attempts at this point. We've got a Cursed Ankh coming out from Achilles. Smart active there to utilize into the Arthur. It's going to be good. Into the Chang'e, into the Umoja. Really was a necessary active pickup. I expect to see some decent anti-healing coming out. We've got the Divine Ruin on Poseidon. I wouldn't mind seeing one more anti-heal item at some point. Maybe like a Brawler's Beat Stick or a Pestilence or something. Chang'e with the horrific Aegis over in the mid lane. Not something you see every day. They do have a sprint to counteract the creeping curse, so I don't know how much I love that idea. We'll see how it translates into later stages of the game. Definitely an odd pickup. Would have preferred something like a Blink for that Blink ulti setup. And it seems that we're starting to get people positioning themselves around the Gold Fury. It's starting to get around that time. We do have a ward out from RushDeathbringer, though. They have a sentry ward on it. Umoja trying to get some poke. Madrock finding himself a little bit out of position right now. Hunbats was attempting to rotate right lane for a gank onto solo, but now he realizes that his team needs him over in the dual lane. But he will be late to this fight if they try to do anything. Heavenly Agility popped by the Xing 10 to get his team out of there. He knows it's a 3v4. He can't have that fight be happening right now until Hunbat showed up. Insert team name here, though, was looking for that rotation. They couldn't quite find the Hunbats, though, in a good enough position. Great stun coming out from Umoja onto Anher and Xing 10. Wow, Anher already down to half HP. Good Hunbats ulti coming up, followed up by the Poseidon, but it wasn't enough to pick up Susano. Now they're all stuck in the Umoja ult. What an incredible position, Umoja ult. That's a dead Anher. That's a dead Xing 10. Hunbats into the back line, trying to get a pick off onto Susano, but he can't quite reach him yet. Poseidon looks like he's going to walk away. Hunbats is dedicated to this kill now, but he's going to get juked by Bandit with the 3. What an incredible use of Susano 3 to get out of there. Not going to be able to find that kill onto Hunbats unless the Umoja gets a little bloop bloop. But she doesn't have enough of her Oni up to find that kill. But that should give a free Gold Fury over to insert team name here right now. Should be free. Meanwhile, over in the solo lane, we see action once again coming out. Awesome Jake and Illusional fighting into each other. Doesn't look like either will probably be able to kill each other unless they get that execution range online. Smart play over here. Time Bandit looking for buffs. He knew his team didn't need him at the Gold Fury, so he goes looking for buffs while they're doing that. Maximize that farm, and there's that ultimate that we talked about. The only way he's going to get killed is if he gets executed. He's got to be careful about getting himself down into that range. But now that they know that they've overstayed their welcome, Poseidon moving in towards their red buff, grabs a kill onto that Chang'e, but he's in trouble now. Time Bandit has healed up quite a bit with that Assassin's Blessing. Undo these jungle camps. Xjor going to find himself picked off a 1-for-1 trade here. Mid laner for mid laner. 1,000 gold lead now, though, for insert team name here. Switching that around just a little bit, you can see that RushDeathbringer was starting to get their lead going, and that has, whoop, been turned around. 11 kills to 15 kills, 1,000 gold lead. X speed was almost completely even there for a second. Very impressive. As far as these damage numbers right now, if I can look at my cursor. Where'd my cursor go? There it is. Thanks, buddy. As expected, we see Arthur and Achilles up there in the damage because of all their fights they've been having in the solo lane. Arthur just not quite able to win those 1v1s, although he is getting a good amount of damage off, followed by the Poseidon at 14,000. A more overall damage dispersal here from insert team name here. 3 members participating at about the same rate right now. Whereas RushDeathbringer is really relying on Poseidon to bring that damage into team fights, which is why when he's dead, things can get real scary real quick. Both the Pyromancer and the Gold Fury are down. Neither will spawn for a hot minute. So both teams at this point are going to be looking for any sort of pickoff that they can get. A little early to just go to a Fire Giant without most of the enemy team being dead. So both teams need to start looking for stuff. We see the rotation coming out from Deathbringer solo lane, and he is huge. Level 18. He'll be able to position himself very aggressively, very safely. Any other member of their team right there would have gotten killed. But because he's level 18, he can heal so much, he's fine. We still see Arthur just farming over in the solo lane, starting a rotation a little bit right now, but he is not nearly as big as the Achilles is, and he's finding himself in just as many people as the Achilles. He's going to be in a bad spot. Yep. They're going to be able to find that pick off every single time. He is just not nearly as large as the enemy solo laner, and they've got so much burst damage with that Poseidon that he's going to need to be careful about that until he gets level 20, until he gets a little bit more magical defense online. You can see right now he's opted for the physical defense. He's just now getting his Oni Hunter's garb online. RushDeathbringer putting themselves in position for a Fire Giant. Only 3 members right now of insert team name here. A great Woojer ult again. I'm so impressed by the position of these. Time Bandit going to find a pickoff on Xjor, and he's going to find the finish kill onto Anher. Chang'e finding herself stuck against the wall, so she's going to be picked off. Hunbatch, though, down to basically 1 HP. Susanoo basically down to 1 HP. Great Hachiman ult to finish off the Hunbatch there in the back line. He's going to be able to keep fighting this. He's level 18. He's big himself. He doesn't have to really be afraid of anybody. They've got the respawn on Arthur now, who had died earlier. Plus, they're going to have their Susanoo walking back. This is a great fight for insert team name here. Man, Achilles still looking to stick around and get as much poke out as he can. Hopefully put them in a range where they're not comfortable doing the Fire Giant. And he seems to have accomplished his goal right there. They're not going to be able to start that. They'll grab this mid tower. Not a big deal. Not a super good defensive objective at this point. It's not going to help them that much. Honestly, something like a red buff is probably a bigger deal at this point. But that was a very strong team fight from insert team name here. Very good. Time Bandit doing a great job positioning himself to kill Xjor. Without Poseidon, like we talked about, they're missing a lot of damage. It's very scary for their team fight. Until some of the other members get it online, they're going to need to be careful with that. As far as damage, I wouldn't be surprised to see Hachi starting to move his way up in those damage charts. We see him moving up just a little bit. He's about halfway up there. He's starting to come online. He's getting some crit going. That's going to help that damage number a lot. And we see, once again, the Achilles and Poseidon so much higher than the rest of their team's damage compared to insert team name here, which is solid across the board. None of them at the very tippity top and none of them at the bottom. Very good teamwork coming out, whereas RushDeathbringer is relying a little bit more on some star player action this round. Susanoo moving in towards the mid lane, trying to find some Poseidon. He can't find him, a little fishy boy. Has to just chill out, relax. But they are going to go ahead and start 5-man pushing onto this T1. They're going to grab it. Xingqian going in looking for it. They do not combine that Poseidon ult, Xingqian ult very well. Poseidon fighting himself very low. This Susanoo ult is going to be problematic, hitting 3 members of RushDeathbringer. They didn't even have their full team here because Anner wasn't quite there yet. The Woojer ult not quite as good as they're used to. Time Bandit fighting himself around the back, picking up that Poseidon. Awesome Jake actually getting low for the first time this game. Might find himself dead if he's not careful. They can still move in on this T2 tower. RushDeathbringer really ought to just give up this tower at this point. Otherwise, they might be giving up more than the tower. They might be giving up a Phoenix as well. Luckily, Ant are not going to die there. Getting a good counter kill onto Time Bandit. Finding himself out of position too deep past that tier 2 tower without his team there. But they will find a cleanup kill onto the support player, Xingqian. Will they continue to push for this Phoenix? They will, ladies and gentlemen. They've got the solo laner here who can't afford to keep tanking this, but they have thought better of their executive decision. Backing up a little bit. Achilles doesn't want to let them back up for free, though. They're starting to get some respawns. If they can find like a Chang'e out of position, hit him with a good pillar, Impale combo, they could find themselves a pick off and maybe try to get themselves a little gold fury or some sort of objective counterplay from the gold that insert team name has just found themselves with. 3,000 gold lead, 3,000 XP difference, and as expected, they will be looking for something to neutralize this benefit that they just got, but they will have that solo laner rotating over. Good Hunbat's ult, but will it be enough? It will be. Hunbat's will find himself dead for that, but they do secure the objective. Poseidon ulti not too poorly positioned, hit 3 people, not perfectly, hit him on the outside rim, but enough damage to get them to back up, and they will find themselves a little bit coming back. Nothing too crazy because the Hunbats did die there, so it wasn't a perfect trade. But at the 25-minute marker, a couple thousand is nothing to be worried about. I would be a little worried right now if I'm Deathbringer about the trend of how the team fights are going, less about the actual XP in gold department. But they need to take a breather, take a deep breath in and out. They need to get a little bit calmer on their shot calling. They need to be a little bit more relaxed on how they're combining abilities. Xingtian, Poseidon, Hunbats, not quite connecting their combination perfectly. Sometimes it's getting people on the edge of stuff. They need to just wait a little bit. Little poke fight breaking out around the Fire Giant. That's a lot more than just poke on the solo laner. Arthur not finding himself as tanky as I think he would like to be. Quite a bit of damage, quite a bit of anti-heal coming out from RushDeathbringer. They've got the Pestilences, they've got the Brawlers. That Gladiator shield ain't going to do him no good. He ain't going to find no self-sustain from that when he's got over 100% anti-healing on him. Insert team name here, very properly utilizing their healing from Chang'e and Woojer. Very nice. Arthur finding himself, I'm scared about this positioning. He's just trying to get some front line going for his team, trying to get the other boys to be in a bad position, but he will find himself inside of that Poseidon Whirlpool after the Hunbat's ult, but he isn't dead, and a great Woojer ult going to be separating Deathbringer from their squad. Very important Woojer ult there, keeping them alive. Susano in the backline only at half HP, a little bit in trouble right there, but he's going to get around back. Meanwhile, Hachiman super out of position. Looks like he's going to get picked off by the Hunbat and Poseidon, but not before the Anner gets picked off. Kills all around. People going down left and right. 3 left on both sides. And the Poseidon ulti was still up, but Chang'e had her 2 up. Not bad. Excuse me, only 1 down for RushDeathbringer. That was my bad. That was 2 down for insert team name hero and 1 down for RushDeathbringer. My apologies. And we've got the continued aggression coming out from RushDeathbringer, winning a team fight that they really needed to win. That was an important one. Looks like they finally took that breath that they needed. Bandit couldn't find the pickoffs that he was used to fighting in those fights. He's used to getting in the back line, taking out Poseidon or somebody, and he just couldn't quite get them down, meaning that they had their big, fat damage boy alive for that entire team fight. Woojer has had some incredible ultimates this game. That fight could have gone even worse for insert team name here without that Woojer ult that separated out that fight and kept RushDeathbringer into 2 separate camps so they couldn't just wrap up the kills right there. Deathbringer will be coming back down to this Fire Giant. Nobody from insert team name is here. They all backed. This should be free. They finally win a team fight, will allow them to get the Fire Giant. They did use their Poseidon to secure, but they could be in a bad spot now getting picked off. That's a dead Hunbat, absolutely. Achilles trying to back over there by the solo lane. Looks like he'll be able to get that off. 1 Fire Giant down for RushDeathbringer. Will they be able to get any other pickoffs here? It doesn't look like the boys in blue will be able to, but they will probably be able to get themselves a tier 2 tower for their troubles while the other boys have to go back to their fountain and buy some items. Deathbringer moving up a little bit here. I would be surprised to see insert team name here push this up. They really ought to just back it up, play it safe. Maybe get set up for a Gold Fury. They split up their team a little awkwardly right here. 2 down the lane, 2 into the jungle. Doesn't look like they're going to get punished for it, but positioning like that at the wrong time can very much get you in trouble. Yemoja by herself. She's got 4 people looking at her. Now, she is a Yemoja. Her 3 is an incredible skill to just walk away. As you can see, all of a sudden, poof, he's in his base out of nowhere. No troubles whatsoever. As far as the Hunter builds coming out, you can see a little bit of a difference here. And her going for a little bit more of a consistent damage, anti-heal type build. Not Madrock going out for the crit damage. Wants that big burst. I bet we see a fairly different damage number total from them. 19,000 coming out and 11,000. Definitely that crit damage helping with Hachi. But a little bit of support in the way of anti-heal, in the way of penetration being provided from Anher. Nothing wrong with that. Both teams starting to get ready for this Gold Fury. This is the important Fury. This is the Oni Fury. This is what will give you those jacked creeps up in your lane. It puts all of your creeps on pre-workout, so they get super pumped about going and wrecking some towers. And it looks like insert team name here. Just going to give it up. Not a bad decision. Deathbringer has that Fire Giant, so they don't want to mess around with it too badly. Don't want to, you know, get themselves in any trouble. They've still got a bunch of towers up to defend. They might opt to defend on like a left T2 because they have all their tier 2 towers up. Or they might opt to split push and defend on Phoenix instead. Get all the other lanes pushed up. Wait for them to push down to a Phoenix. If they do opt for the Phoenix route, that's a pretty significant amount of gold that they're giving up in the way of T2s. They are opting to not defend this. Now, the question will be if Deathbringer goes for this Phoenix immediately or if they go to wrap down all the tier 2 towers for the gold. And it looks like they want to play it safe. They will be going for the tier 2 towers. Bringing themselves, I mean, they'll have a couple thousand gold lead if they can snag all of these. But on the way over to this right tier 2, insert team name here, could decide to defend this. They could have all 5 members set up, ready to go at this tier 2 tower. It looks like they're not going to give this one up quite as easily. No, they will be. Looks like somebody made the executive decision. If they could have been there about 5 seconds earlier, they could have been set up for it. But they're going to decide to just give up all their tier 2 towers. Honestly, not a terrible decision. They're down 1,500 XP and 4,000 gold for that decision as these boys wrap up the Pyromancer. But that's a very easy way to guarantee exactly how much you're going to be down. They know they're not going to lose a Phoenix in this situation. They know that they're not going to have a significant gold or XP deficit because everybody's basically level 20. Everybody's basically full build. I don't mind that decision at all. And it allows them to run out the Fire Giant on Deathbringer and just get set up for the next one. Fire Giant spawns in 1 minute. This is the jacked Fire Giant. So this Fire Giant will be very important. After 30 minutes, the Fire Giant gives you super buffs. He gives you more damage. He gives you more power, more objective, more everything. Everything you could possibly want, he gives you more of. So this is the one that you got to be very careful of. This is also the Fire Giant that people feel like they can burst. And then all of a sudden, they start it and the other team shows up and they throw because they couldn't burst down the Fire Giant in time. So they need to be careful, whichever team decides to start this. I would imagine neither team is going to start it. We're going to get the little Fire Giant wiggle until somebody can find some sort of initiation potential. As far as ward coverage right now, Deathbringer doesn't really have that many wards. Insert team name here. You can see bing, bing, bada, boom, boom, boom. Finally, RushDeathbringer gets a ward out. There's the second one. Both teams going to be needing lots and lots of ward coverage over here. Neither team doing anything too crazy right now. Nothing too crazy. Fire Giant has officially spawned. RushDeathbringer is set up around it. Doesn't look like insert team name here might even contest. Ooh, I don't know about that decision. Not contesting the 30-minute Fire Giant. They had all their Phoenixes up. They didn't lose anything yet. They had decent ward coverage already. They could have been set up with all 5 folks for that Fire Giant. That may come back to haunt them. Now they're down 6,000 gold. Enhanced Fire Giant is on Team Red. And they will have to defend their Phoenix. We'll see how this Phoenix defense fight goes. 20-21 in the kills. Will this be the end of the match? Or will this be just the start of this incredible brawl? Achilles going in looking for some poke. Creeps finding themselves cleared very quickly. Susano is just looking for an opportunity. They've got this area sentry warded, so he knows that they can't see him. He just wants an opportunity to blink in on that back line. Get himself a Susano ulti off, some immediate pick-off kill. We can expect that Poseidon to be the target. You see this damage, Achilles and Poseidon. They know that to be true. They're going to be looking for him. Xing 10 with a great blink ult. Poseidon ultimate is down, though. They only got it onto the Emoja. That's not the greatest target. Some good damage on the backline on Arthur. You can see Susano still waiting to go in. Hunbat's ult down, and her jumped into the backline very low. Yamoja finding herself very low. Achilles ulti isn't going to land on it, but Bandit now could wreak havoc on the backline. Finds an incredible ultimate onto basically the whole team. The Changa ultimate's incredible. The Hachi looking for the ulti and her in the backline. He's going to get it. And insert team name here is going to find a wipe onto RushDeathbringer. 5-1 members switch. Excuse me for ever daring to make a shot call for them. They know exactly what their strengths are. They wanted that Phoenix defense. That is where they felt confident. They've got a 30-second timer. This could be it. This could be the reverse end. They've got 25 seconds on the nearest spawn, guys. They're all rushing down the mid lane. They're going to be going for this Phoenix. 20 seconds left. They've got their Hachi. They've got the creeps. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be the reverse end from insert team name here, knowing to play to their strengths, getting them all grouped up for a Changa ult, for a Susano ult, for the Yamoja ult, making sure that they could get them all perfectly aligned. And insert team name here at the 36-minute marker will take game 1 of our series finale, guys. This is a best of 3 series, so don't go anywhere. And if you're on YouTube, you got to make sure you watch the next sets to see who the winner is. Will RushDeathbringer make a comeback? We're going to find out in our game 2, ladies and gentlemen. What a great freaking game from both teams. RushDeathbringer shouldn't feel bad at all, ladies and gentlemen. Really incredible gameplay coming out from both squads. We see XJort on the Poseidon, 27,000 damage, and Awesome Jake, 29,000 damage. 2 top damages in the game, but right after that, we see the entirety of insert team name here coming out with their sweet, sweet middle-of-the-line damage. Nobody topping the charts, but all of them doing very good participation. Notable shout out to Yamoja support, who did 15,000 damage. I think that's pretty strong. A little bit more participation needed from our jungle duo lane squad here. To be fair, the jungle duo on insert team name here is absolutely their strength and where they thrive, so it's no surprise to see Deathbringer struggle in that department. But really great, good calls from both teams. Good ganks. Good team fights. It was back and forth. Both teams absolutely had a shot at that. Fairly standard builds coming out. Nothing too crazy.
These are definitely the 2 best teams. What a close one.
So nothing in that regard coming out being too crazy, but really incredible match. 25 kills, 22. Look at even the gold. 86,000, 89,000. Wonderful match. That will be 1 game in favor of insert team name here, and we will start to get